In the day's other news, a white police officer in Fort Worth, Texas, has resigned after fatally shooting a black woman in her own home Saturday. The officer, Aaron Dean, was responding to a call about an open door. Police body cam video showed Dean firing a split second after shouting at 28-year-old Tatiana Jefferson to show her hands. Fort Worth Interim Police Chief Ed Kraus.
Nobody looked at that video and said there's any doubt that this officer acted inappropriately. Had the officer not resigned, I would have fired him for violations of several policies, including our use of force policy, our de-escalation policy, and unprofessional conduct.
Jefferson's family told reporters today they want accountability.
There is simply no justification for his actions. She was enjoying a life in her home where no one would have expected it to be her life to be in harm's way, especially not at the hands of a civil servant.
Meanwhile, former Georgia police officer Robert Olson today was found not guilty of murder in the 2015 fatal shooting of a black man who was unarmed and naked. In Spain, the Supreme Court has convicted 12 Catalan separatist leaders over the region's failed secession attempt in 2017. After the ruling, protesters clashed with riot police outside the airport in the region's capital, Barcelona, injuring dozens, and thousands descended on the streets of the city, with separatists decrying the decision.
These people have been unfairly sentenced. Although we already know this was going to happen because it had been decided already, it has been a fake trial. There is no other name for this.
The Catalan regional president called the verdict an act of vengeance and said that it would not stop a bid for independence. In Britain, Queen Elizabeth opened a new session of Parliament today as the deadline looms for the country's exit from the European Union. In the House of Lords, she gave a ceremonial Queen's speech written by Prime Minister Boris Johnson's government. She said his government is committed to leaving the EU by the end of month deadline.
My government's priority has always been to secure the United Kingdom's departure from the European Union on the 31st of October. My government intends to work towards a new partnership with the European Union based on free trade and friendly cooperation.
Both sides said that significant gaps remain in the talks, which could spill into next week. Ecuadorians are celebrating a deal between the government and indigenous leaders to end nearly 2 weeks of protests that left 7 dead. The agreement would cancel an austerity package, including sharp fuel price hikes that set off the demonstrations. In the capital, Quito, protesters danced in the streets overnight. And today, thousands of demonstrators and volunteers cleaned a park where police had clashed with protesters. On Wall Street today, the Dow Jones Industrial Average lost 29 points to close at 26,787. The Nasdaq fell 8 points to close at 8,048. The S&P 500 dropped 4. 3 researchers working to fight poverty have won the Nobel Prize for Economics. They are Abhijit Banerjee and Esther Duflo of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology and Michael Kramer of Harvard. Their studies favored practical steps, breaking down poverty into areas like education and healthcare, and then testing specific solutions.
Rigorous in 2 ways: rigorous in designing the policies, not based on your intuition or whatever happens to be the flavor of the month, but based on a better understanding of how the poor live, why they make the choices they make, what are the specific traps that hold them back, and what lever to push that could unlock this trap.
Duflo, who is married to Banerjee, is only the 2nd woman to win the Economics Prize. And in a surprise, judges have awarded 2 authors the prestigious Booker Prize. Canadian Margaret Atwood won for The Testaments, a sequel to her best-selling novel, The Handmaid's Tale. And British author Bernardine Evaristo is the first Black woman to win the major literary prize for her novel, Girl, Woman, Other. Still to come on the NewsHour, why a handful of Democrats are still holding out on throwing their support behind the impeachment inquiry. Amy Walter and Domenico Montanaro analyze the president's relationship with his own party as he moves troops out of Syria. Journalist Ronan Farrow on his new book about covering the most explosive stories of the Me Too era, and much more.
This is the PBS NewsHour from WETA Studios in Washington and in the West from the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism at Arizona State University.